video. It just started autoplaying, I'm sorry. So this is the expansion that broke Classic WoW. My final thoughts on Wrath. Like, first of all, that is a very catchy title. That is a very catchy title, and as someone who plays Wrath myself, I will also play Kata, by the way. I have had this opinion since before it was popular to have, and before all the content creators started jumping on Kata. I love Kata. I said that back in vanilla WoW, when people would hate me for it. I love Kata, I do. I think it's a good expansion. Granted, the last 4 bosses of the Dragon Soul raid did suck. It was a good expansion. I loved pretty much everything about it. PvP was peak, Firelands was amazing, there were certain bosses in Dragon Soul that was also amazing. The cunning of the cruel trinket was really fun to play with, back in Dragon Soul as well. Just a bunch of fun things happening in Kata, man. Rated battlegrounds, the arenas was really good back then, PvP and being a hunter main in Kata was really fun, and I also played a Restoration Druid, which for some reason I really enjoyed. Don't even ask me why. I usually don't enjoy being a healer, but back then that was my main. I also played a Marksmanship Hunter in PvP, was really fun to play, and I had a blast. I really did. Many of the dungeons as well started becoming more difficult. So I can't wait to see what they will look like on Mythic Plus, or I guess Heroic Plus, or like the Beta Protocol dungeon, or whatever they want to call them, right? Beta Protocol, Alpha Protocol, whatever the name is in Cataclysm, I can't wait to see, because I think people are going to be wiping in Blackrock Caverns on normal difficulty. I saw that on a certain server not that long ago. People had no idea what to do with the boss that you have to drag it through the flames or the lava in the middle. They just had no idea. They would either kite him around the lava and do nothing, or leave him be in the lava, which wipes the entire group, by the way. So for me, I can't wait. I think it's going to be a good expansion, but I have also really enjoyed Wrath from start till finish, and I can't wait to see what Nixxiom has to say about Wrath so far. It's going to be a long video. Settle in, and let's go, boys. Final thoughts on Wrath, the expansion that broke Classic WoW. I'm gonna make a prediction. Level boost and WoW token. 2 predictions. Level boost and WoW tokens. Alright, with that being said, let's take a look, shall we?
Friends, once again, I have found myself out in the woods in the middle of the night. And you're probably wondering, Nixxiom, how the heck did you get here? Don't worry, because I am going to show you, but I must warn you that today's video is going to be a bit of a sad one.
That intro? Just the atmosphere and the music? Dude, I love it. I love this.
Have you ever dreamed about something for a really long time, and then you finally get that something, but you just end up hurt because the thing that you had hoped for ended up being completely not what you expected? That was Wrath of the Lich King Classic, guys, for me, for a lot of people, probably you guys even watching this. And this video, I want it to be my last video on Wrath Classic. I just want to share some conclusive thoughts on this reimagining of my favorite World of Warcraft expansion and talk about really just the 4 big reasons why Wrath Classic didn't play out the way that we had hoped.
I also have a pretty major announcement that I will be making at the end of this video, but we'll get there. Right now, let's just talk about Wrath of the Lich King.
Now look, I do want to make a few things absolutely clear. Wrath of the Lich King is awesome. Death Knights, Northrend, the Lich King Tuskar, Penguins. Just listening to even a few seconds of its soundtrack sends me right back to my childhood. I absolutely love it. And when we hopped onto that boat to go to Northrend yet again in 2022, I fell in love all over again. And everybody else did too. This expansion was on fire with love and enthusiasm from the players, from the developers. But suddenly, things started to go downhill. All that hype just seemed to vanish. And what were the reasons that happened? But real fast, everybody, before we talk about Wrath of the Lich King, we do have to thank this video's sponsor, Luck Catchers 2. Linked down below in the description, Luck Catchers 2 over on Steam. It is a socio-economic MMO set in a vast world of magic, dragons, and flying jaw-dropping ships. In this world, you'll be building cities, finding rare resources, forming alliances, and best of all, doing battle with pirates. Build industrial empires to dominate the world, lead pirate rampages, or participate in races and dragon hunts. Really just shape your journey to whatever you want in this game's absolutely massive world. With a huge amount of character customization, territories to explore and capture, as well as battles set on airships, there is something in Luck Catchers 2 to catch, pun, the attention of any would-be adventurer. Guys, if you're looking for a new game set in a rich fantasy world, if you've been dying for a game full of rich conflict and insanely deep character customization and an open world to explore of over 1 million square kilometers full of guilds, cities, and settlements and engaging events to discover, then Luck Catchers 2 might just be your next big adventure. Click the link down.
Especially if there's no WoW tokens or level boosts. Yeah, you got me hooked already, bro.
Below in the description right now and enjoy, everybody, and be sure to use code NIX to unlock some free in-game items. You will not be disappointed. And now let's go out in the woods and talk about Wrath of the Lich King.
The first reason is actually Dragonflight.
For those of you guys that weren't there, Shadowlands was coming to an end, World of Warcraft's worst expansion by a long mile, and nobody had faith that Blizzard was actually going to pull off a successful follow-up expansion because of just how bad Shadowlands was. Even though Blizzard announced that Dragonflight was going to come out a mere 2 months after Wrath of the Lich King Classic would be released, there was really no fear. Blizzard couldn't pull off a good expansion good enough to dethrone the one true king. Or could they? Dragonflight was a pretty solid expansion. It wasn't mind-blowing, it wasn't the bringing back the golden age of World of Warcraft, no, none of that, but it was a good expansion and people were having fun playing it, and because of that, the Wrath of the Lich King population began to suffer as—
I will say, I did quit Dragonflight about 4 months in, for the reasons that Blizzard just simply did not fix a couple of things that I personally consider to be game-breaking. They're not game-breaking, like breaking the game that way, but for me as a gold maker, they were game-breaking and they had to do professions, and I had reported these bugs on the beta and reached out to them personally, and they just weren't interested in fixing them. It's things that printed millions of gold that people could do, and they just didn't fix them, and that pissed me off. But aside from that, that's like the one complaint that I had. But it's just like professions was a major part of it. If you think away from raiding and PvP, which are fantastic by the way, they took a chance on revamping professions, every single one, and the system itself. And they then failed to deliver, and when people reported bugs on their brand new system that they tried to like implement, they didn't fix those bugs in time. A couple of these got fixed 2.5 months after release. And then people had already printed tens of millions of gold. That's not even me being like hyperbolic there. People printed tens of millions of gold on bugs, which was reported on the beta. But I really had fun. The first 4 months of Dragonflight was really fun. I enjoyed pretty much every single aspect of it. The dungeons were great, the questing was great, the entire environment was great, the music was great, world questing was world it was what world questing is. I mean, can't really hype that up too much, can we? It's quests after all, but the storyline was great, and you didn't feel like they captured the classic WoW element of not feeling like you had to log in every single day. It's like they captured a MMORPG element that they've been trying to like force you to play the game 24/7, log in every day, do dailies, do your world quests, get your caches, do your weeklies. They try to like play on you not missing out. But in Dragonflight, they gave you more options. They gave you more freedom. And I think it paid out. You didn't really feel like you had to log in. You logged in because you wanted to log in, which was a risk that I think paid off.
As people moved from Wrath over into Dragonflight. And so when they went to Dragonflight, really they didn't come back to re-experience the rest of Wrath of the Lich King. Not everybody, mind you, but the fact that Dragonflight had done so well with its launch.
Yeah, let me ask you guys, how many of you played Wrath and then played Dragonflight when Dragonflight came out, and then just didn't come back to Wrath? Because personally, I came back to Wrath. I did. Like, Wrath is a good expansion to me. It's one of my favorites, and always has been, always will be. It's a pretty good expansion overall, and it's the first time that I really started to understand what WoW was about. I've been playing since vanilla. I was really young back then, sure, but I've been playing since vanilla. I never got to level 60, so I didn't really play any endgame back then, but Wrath was the first time, OG Wrath that is, like 2010 or whatever the year was, that was my first time ever getting to max level and doing a raid. So for me, just Wrath has a lot of nostalgia attached to it, and it's a overall good expansion. I came back. I did miss out on Ulduar by playing Dragonflight, and I'm fine with that. I've experienced everything else, and I'm happy. It's been good. It's been a wild ride. It's been good. I don't think a lot of people left Wrath for Dragonflight and didn't come back, but then again, what do I know?
Was really the first reason why Wrath of the Lich King began to suffer a little bit. So right here along the trail, you can see that there is a perfect example of a little elf home. And it's said that in little places like these, that apparently little forest spirits tend to live. And sometimes if you look inside, you might be able to see one. The second reason why Wrath of the Lich King Classic failed is because of something I think a lot of us really loved, and that would be hardcore Classic WoW. Classic WoW Hardcore was just a fan-made and fan-supported game mode of playing classic World of Warcraft. This movement just blew up, and everyone and their mom, including yours truly, I'm as guilty of it as any, everybody was playing Classic WoW Hardcore.
I just want to point something out, by the way. Ulduar back in the day was when private servers started popping off, and Ulduar in Wrath Classic was when Classic Era had a resurgence. Like, I think that was around the same time that Hardcore was popping off again, around Ulduar times. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, give or take around Ulduar. Which, if you tie things together here, that basically means Ulduar is too difficult content for Classic WoW players, and they quit, and they go back to more easy gameplay. Shots fired. At myself as well, I'm a Classic WoW gamer, damn it, okay.
Core. It was just a jump. We went from Wrath of the Lich King to Dragonflight to Classic Hardcore. At this point, Wrath of the Lich King had kind of just been left in the dust. Dragonflight had stolen a lot of its population. Classic WoW Hardcore had stolen a lot of its population. In fact, Hardcore became so popular in the community that Blizzard released their very own version of Classic Hardcore, which even further hurt the Wrath of the Lich King population, because this is where everybody was playing at the time. And of course, everybody wants to follow the...
I mean, you already know, he's going to talk about Season of Discovery as reason number 3 or reason number 4, and I can't blame him, I think so. Like, in my raiding guild as well, half the raiding guild left Wrath, or we took a break from Wrath to play SOD, and I think so far 7 out of 10 have simply not come back from that break. 3 people did start raiding again, but they're still playing SOD as their main game technically, so I mean, SOD probably gave Wrath a little bit of a hit, I'll be real.
Crowd, you know, the big gaming tidal wave, and this is where everybody was. Everybody was playing Classic Hardcore, and it was a ton of fun, leveling up, the tournaments, all of it, but we can't deny that it was the second reason why Wrath of the Lich King suffered so much. But it wasn't the biggest reason. What's up, dude?
No.
Mountain bikers. Point number 3, guys. Point number 3. I know you guys have been waiting for this one.
Michael, I have a question.
It's
for
Michael?
you. What was the primary reason that led to the death of Wrath of the Lich King Classic?
Fucking bots, dude.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
Wrath of the Lich King was polluted with bots pretty much all throughout its lifespan.
Oh, I made so many videos about the bots in Wrath, dude. Oh, they're so bad. Oh, it's so shit. Oh my days. And they're so obvious. Like, you think it's bad in Season of Discovery right now? No. Wrath was even worse. You took one trip to Sholazar Basin. You saw one person, but probably about 174 bots. All Death Knights, or Paladins. Death Knights and Paladins. Because Paladins could fly a little bit faster, I guess, and Death Knights because, well, obviously Death Knights, they level fast, and yeah, a lot of Death Knights, because Blizzard also made it so your first character, you could just make a Death Knight without needing to have a level 55. I think they might have reverted that now, but back when Wrath came out, you just saw so many Death Knight bots, man. Oh, it was terrible. Oof, I don't miss that part of Wrath.
Which gave to the expansion and to Classic WoW a horrendous reputation among the greater player base and even people that weren't even playing World of Warcraft. Why would you play a game that was overrun with bots? Of course you guys have probably seen the videos of all the bot Death Knights running around. It was horrendous. And the sad thing is that bots were a problem in Hardcore Classic when that came out. They were a problem in Season of Discovery.
They still are.
Only recently, only with the recent Phase 2 patch of SOD, are we seeing Blizzard implementing software to actually fight these bots.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah. How effective is that software, man? I mean, yesterday we spent like, what, 5 minutes outside Stockades, and we saw probably 742 bots running out. Yeah, I don't know about the software, man. Yeah.
It's like new software to detect these bots, to detect these gold farmers, and get them out of the game. But Wrath of the Lich King suffered from this crap since almost the very beginning, which just made it such a sour game to play for so many people.
And speaking of bullshit, that's coyote poop. And a lot of it.
All right, Sterling, I know you're busy, but I got a question.
What's up?
Why did you end up quitting Wrath of the Lich King Classic?
WoW token.
A WoW token.
That was the prediction, boys.
So it's a little bit dark out here now, fellas, as you can see. I know there's a lot of people out there that tend to get very frustrated when the subject of the WoW token comes up. There are people out there that genuinely support it, that don't see anything wrong with it, but the WoW token is, admittingly, the fourth big reason, probably one of the biggest reasons why so many people left the game. Admittingly, the WoW token...
But it's also just like, okay, people wanted Blizzard to put in the LFG system into Wrath, and their response was, this is not Classic-like. The LFG system, which was there in OG Wrath, was not put in because it was not Classic-like. But the WoW token is apparently more Classic-like, a system that never came out before Warlords, which is probably known to be the worst expansion of all time. That's more Classic-like, apparently. Yeah, the WoW token, which came out in Warlords, is more Classic-like than a system that was literally there in Wrath. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. I don't see anything wrong.
Token is actually what made me leave Wrath of the Lich King, and a lot of my friends. The biggest problem was just the fact that Blizzard said that they were not going to put the WoW token into Wrath Classic. But then when the bots and the gold farmers were just running rampant in Classic WoW, it's just Blizzard, instead of investing money into creating new technology to fight this bot problem, instead all they did is they decided they wanted a cut of that pie. That's how it was perceived by the greater community. Instead of fighting the bots with new software, they would just fight them by taking a cut of their profit, by making it possible to buy gold in Classic WoW for the very first time. The WoW token really was the fourth major reason why so many people left Wrath of the Lich King Classic behind, and it's why Wrath Classic didn't do as well as we had hoped. And now, if you don't mind, there is a fort out here in the woods that I'm gonna go hang out in for a little bit. It's just a happy little, relaxing, comfortable fort in the woods. Let's head on in, shall we? Actually has two rooms. You've got like this
entry room here, and then you've got this side room over here. Pretty cool, huh? Got like this little table here, and it's nice. Friends, this is what I do for fun when I'm not playing WoW. I go out in the woods and I hang out in creepy forts in the middle of the night. All right, so we've made it to the end of the video, and I said at the beginning that I was going to make a pretty big announcement. I admit it's a little bit difficult for me to talk about. I'm still recovering. For those of you that have been watching the channel for a very long time, especially the streams, you're probably aware that I have a dog named Lucy who's been a part of the vlogs and the live streams for a very long time. A little over a week ago, she started suffering from heart failure, and she was coughing up blood, and we had to put her down. And so the reason why I was out in the woods today with this video was actually to gather pine cones, stones, moss, just really anything that I could find to decorate her grave site, which is in the backyard behind me. I've been working with a Dremel tool lately, kind of getting familiar with using it, and so I carved for her a tombstone, and you can see that I've decorated the space with some moss and some white stone that I found. And I'll put some flowers there soon, and I'll put those pine cones that I gathered out in the woods out there, but I just wanted to make that announcement just to let you guys know, for those of you guys that were fans of Lucy just like me. In conclusion, those are the reasons why Wrath of the Lich King really just ended up being so disappointing for a lot of us. But for those of you guys that stuck around and kept playing, you kept on course despite all the ups and downs that the expansion was experiencing. I hope that you guys had a great time. Wrath of the Lich King is almost over, Cataclysm Classic is on the way, and we'll see how it does. Thank you guys for watching though, and I'll see you all with my next video.
Dude, that was not the announcement I was hoping for, man. I'm getting emotional, dude. But, I mean, to sum it up, a good video. I'm sorry, so sorry about the dog. I'm so sorry about Lucy. I am. That's, I get emotional easy, okay? Yeah, Sag. That's actually, yeah, I'm sorry, man. There's no chance you ever see me reacting to that, but I'm sorry. Either way, good video on Wrath though. Yeah, good video on Wrath. Pretty good summary as well on like why Wrath maybe didn't turn out to be exactly what we all hoped, right? I mean, the reasoning here being like Dragonflight, hardcore WoW Season of Discovery, botting, and WoW tokens, right? So I'm just gonna say WoW tokens to be microtransactions overall, because I feel like level boosting also didn't really help Wrath. Like, being able to pay for level 80 boosts, and first you only had one. Now we have unlimited. So like, all the time that you put into leveling your character suddenly feels meaningless. All the time you spent farming gold, making gold, now feels meaningless. Especially when the bots are there as well, you just spend time farming gold, you feel like you're wasting your time. Because if you spend 1 hour on Wrath right now farming gold, especially in Shouldersar Basin, you will see, and I guarantee, 20 bots doing the same. So you just feel like you're fighting literal robots doing the same thing as you, which feels very bad. Overall, I don't really know what to say. I was hoping for Wrath to be the best time of my life. It was definitely a good expansion. I enjoyed Wrath a lot. I really did. It could have been better if they, for example, didn't put WoW tokens in, no level boost, botting wasn't there. Could have been like the literal best expansion of all time, but then again, Blizzard needs their money. It is what it is, and that's a mindset that I've been adapting. It is what it is. There's not really much more to say, huh?